Last night, the Tampa Bay Lightning took a Game 2 win for the fourth straight series in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Bolts came out flying to win 4-3 over the Chicago Blackhawks, even with their goaltender Ben Bishop off the ice. So here with me now to break down Game 2 and look at the opening lines and picks for Game 3 is expert handicapper Dave Golikoff. Dave, we all know the Bolts are a resilient team. They haven't lost back-to-back on their home ice since December. But from a betting perspective, what did Game 2 tell us? Is there anything we can take away from the game and use in our picks moving forward?
Yeah, I think the number one takeaway that I take from this is that over is going to be a good bet going forward. We saw an under in game number 1, and we did a bunch of picks for game 2, and when we examined the total, I thought under was the way to go, but really the offenses showed up in game 2. The sort of frailties of the goaltender showed up in game 2, and it looks like over will be the best bet going forward, in my opinion. Tampa Bay got their offense going. The triplets line scored. They still have yet to play a game where the triplets and the Stamkos line do really well. As for the Blackhawks, they scored 2 goals in game 1. They scored 3 in game number 2, and really getting nothing out of Kane and Taves. So if those, if the Lightning get both of their offenses, both their lines rolling in the same game, if the Blackhawks continue to score and get Kane and Taves contributing, I think over is going to be the way to go. The other thing too is just the goaltender specifically. Bishop has been leaky at times this postseason. Yesterday was another example of it. Plus he got hurt, so that could contribute to an over. And then Crawford played really well in game number 1, but we saw a couple shaky goals yesterday, including the Tyler Johnson one where he just didn't seal the post. So I think over is the way to go. I think that's the number one thing that I learned from game number 2.
All right, and as you stated in your article, Dave, BetOnline opened up the line for Game 3 minus 150 in favor of Chicago. But honestly, Dave, I expected that number to be a little bit higher than that. I mean, the Hawks have their home ice advantage. Chicago has lost just 1 time in the playoffs on their home ice. And then there's that Bishop factor, which you already just brought up. He left the ice twice last night, so we don't know if he will be playing like himself in Game 3 or maybe even at all. Dave, is there any reason we should back the Lightning as a road dog in this game?
Well, I'd be careful because Tampa Bay has actually played better away from home than at home this postseason. When you take a look at the numbers, they've given up the 2nd most goals per game at home this playoffs of the 16 teams that entered the playoffs. On the road, though, they lead the NHL. They lead the 16 playoff teams in goals allowed per game. So for whatever reason, the Lightning have gone topsy-turvy. I'm trying to think of that movie with Jennifer Garner and somebody else. It's like 13 going on 30. Well, the Lightning struck, and the opposite has happened in the playoffs right now for Tampa Bay. They were so good at home, and they were so mediocre on the road in the regular season. Now it's the opposite. They're pretty good on the road, these playoffs, and at home they are now just 6-6 and giving up a ton of goals per game. So I'd be wary. I mean, I do think Chicago wins the game, but part of me not liking them in this spot is just the amount of juice. I just think that this series is kind of taken on a Chicago-Anaheim, where Chicago won once in Anaheim, and Tampa Bay really looked like, Anaheim really looked like they should have won both games. Well, you start to look at this now, and it does look like Tampa Bay probably should have won both games at home. They kind of blew game 1, so maybe they're better than we think right now. So I don't know. Those are some of the thoughts that I'm thinking about why I don't want to lay the juice with Chicago. In my opinion, they probably win, but Tampa Bay has been good on the road. Maybe they show up again in this spot and steal back home ice advantage. I'm just wary of Chicago here at this price.
All right, Dave, so you sound pretty hesitant about the sides here and a little more confident on the over. Should we take the over in the Game 3?
I think so. I mean, you got the Bishop situation. Is he going to play? Is he not? If Vasilevsky's in net, definitely like the over. I think the total is going to move, first of all, if it's in fact announced that he's in net. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Bishop's going to play, and the question is how effective will he be? Again, I just can't really back the under here in this spot, knowing that the goaltenders are coming off bad games. Bishop is banged up or he's got some kind of issue, and the two teams really haven't played their best offensive game yet. We haven't seen game where the two top Lightning lines contribute at the same time, and then obviously Kane and Taves have yet to really make their mark on the series. So I think that over is the play in this one, and that's going to be my pick for game number 3.
Once again, SBR's expert NHL analyst Dave Golikoff expecting big offensive play and taking the over 5 goals in Game 3 going down in Chicago tomorrow night. Comment below and let us know your picks for the game as well, and keep it locked right here with us as we are bringing you more exclusive betting angles and selections leading up to Game 3. Only the best here with us at Sportsbook Review.